Hey legends, Kitch here from SoundFlow. Welcome to another edition of Live Coding Sessions. Bergatron Music has reached out in the SoundFlow user forum asking how to access presets, module presets in SpectraLayers Pro 11. He's written, hey SoundFlow, Chad posted a great YouTube video on how to access module presets in RX using SoundFlow. I have also been wanting to do this with SpectraLayers Pro 11. I can't seem to get SoundFlow into the SpectraLayers module menus by holding the command key while using click UI element while I'm building the macro. Does anyone know how to build a macro to get into the presets of the SpectraLayers module? Thanks in advance. Yes, I believe this can be done. It might be a little bit trickier. We don't have that many users asking questions about SpectraLayers. So I've downloaded the 30-day trial that they have, and hopefully we can solve this. So if I head on over to SpectraLayers, I've got a test session open here, and I'm absolutely loving this green color. It reminds me of green cordial growing up. But enough of that. So what we're going to be wanting to do is open a module. So say we wanted to open declick. We go to modules, declick ... And I'm assuming the preset menu path that we're wanting to select from is this preset pop-up menu here, which may or may not be a pop-up menu. We'll have to see that when we go through the process. So Bergatron Music is saying, I can't seem to get SoundFlow into the SpectraLayers module menus by holding command while I'm using the click UI element. So that's a macro action. So let's try and do that. Let's first of all, we'll go new macro, and I'm just going to call it click UI element. And if I go add action and go click UI element, let me just move my face from over here, click UI element, and now we've got this action. And if I click the pick button and I command tab over to SpectraLayers, and if I roll over the element here, I think the problem is that we by holding the command key while using click UI element wasn't working. So if I hold down command and click the pop-up menu, okay, it is allowing me to select things, but I think it's selecting it behind the elements behind the actual menu items, unless maybe I'm right in between the UI elements. So you could either be careful about making sure that it's not selecting something behind. As you can see there, the threshold title has been selected. But if I move down a little bit and click there, and I go back to SoundFlow, it is actually selecting the correct row and everything there. But I would probably do this in a more programmatic way. So let's start a new script and see if we can create this from scratch. So I've got a script here that I've called SpectraLayers Recall Preset. And what I'm first of all going to do is I'm going to get a reference to the application, to the SpectraLayers application. So I'm going to click the pick button, command tab over to SpectraLayers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the main window here. And then if we go back, now we have a reference to the main window. We don't want the actual reference to the main window, we just want it to the application. So I'm going to remove main window from the front there, and then I'm going to turn this into a variable. So I'm going to turn this into a constant. I'm going to make it a constant because it's not going to change throughout the script. The SpectraLayers is always going to stay the same. So SpectraLayers equals, there we go. So for certain applications, and I believe SpectraLayers is one of them, we need to have SpectraLayers active, or the app active, before we can try and control it. So to do that, I'm going to go SpectraLayers, and app activate, like so. So if I run this, and I can run this using command and return, and as you can see, it opens up Spectral Layers. So the next thing we need to do now is we need to open the module. And so as an example, let's use modules and then D-click. And as you can see, it's the menu path is going to be modules, and then it's going to be D-click with a capital D and a capital C, and then 3 dots after it. So let's do that. So let's go Spectral Layers, and then I'm going to say menu click and use the menu click method here. Put open curly braces, and then inside that we've got an option to select a menu path. Then what we need to do is make an array, because a menu path takes an array. And the way that we can tell that is if we roll over menu path, we can see that it says that accepts a string array. So the string array is going to be modules. And then we've got D click with capital D and capital C, and then 3 dots like so. Then I'm going to put a comma at the end here because we're going to add an extra line to this. So when you're using menu click, what we can do is for certain menus, so say D-click was open here, if we look at the modules window, when it is open, it has a check mark beside the menu item. So that means that we can actually specifically set the menu item to be enabled or disabled, or we can just toggle it. So for this example, we want to make sure that the D-click menu is actually checked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that, head back to the script here. After putting a comma at the end of the line here, I'm then going to set the target value property here, and the target value has 3 options: enable, disable, or toggle. And there's a quick way of entering this. If I put open and close quote marks and then use Control Spacebar, I can select enabled or enable. And then obviously clicking format will make sure that it's formatted nicely. Then I'm going to put a semicolon there. And so now if I run this using command and return, it navigates to Spectral Layers and then opens the D-click window. But the next thing we've got to do is we've got to wait for this menu to this window to appear. So to wait for the window to appear, I'm going to click the pick button here. I'm going to use Command Tab until I'm on Spectral Layers, let go of the Command key, and then I'm going to roll over the window here. So sometimes if you can't pick the window, you can sometimes pick an element within the window and then remove the actual element from the window and get the full path to it. So just to show you how that works, if I was to get this element here, the D-click title, and then go back here, I've got the path here to the Spectral Layers application. Then I've got the path to the D-click window, and then I've got the title element. So what we could do is we could remove just the title element there, and that would give us the same as if we use the pick button and use Command Tab and then select the D-click window. As you can see, it gives us the same one there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just do a little bit of refactoring here to simplify the script. I'm going to copy Spectral Layers here, and I'm going to replace out this here because it's the same reference, and we're going to paste that in place. So now we have a reference to the D-click window. So I'm just going to call this one module window, and I'm going to make this a constant. Module window equals like that. And then I'll do module window element wait for. And that will wait for the UI element to appear. So if I run this, so if I close this window again and run this, as you can see, it comes up and the D-click window is there. So that's great. So the next thing is we want to access the preset menu. So I'm going to use the pick UI element again and go Command Tab over to Spectral Layers And let's check the preset menu here. So if I click on that and head back to SoundFlow, we can refactor this down again. So I'm just going to change this to SpectraLayers. And then we've got the D-click window. As you can see, that's highlighted there. And so we're going to get the module window. And now we have the menu button and whose title is default. Well, this is going to change here. And if I'm looking at the window, I can see that there's only really one window. So there's only really one pop-up menu at the top here. So the first one would be this presets menu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this part and just leave first there. And I'm going to double check this to make sure that it is actually the correct UI element, because we've removed the reference. So I'm going to go first.title.value, like so. And if I run that, it comes up and logs default, which is correct. And if I change this to light, ran the script again, it comes up light. So that is the correct one that we're trying to access. So now we have reference to that. I'm going to call this menu button. So I'll go const menu button equals. So this is a menu button, and I don't think that this works like a pop-up menu, because it's just stating that it's a menu button, and I don't think that that's something that we have access to with SoundFlow. So instead, we're going to have to do this in a couple more steps. So the first thing we want to do is click the menu button. So let's go menu button, and we'll go element click, like so. And if I close this and run the script again, as you can see, it opens up the pop-up menu as expected, which is great. But we need to get the UI elements within this pop-up sheet here. So let's see if we can do that. So we'll start a new line. We'll use the pick button, Command Tab over to SpectraLayers, and then I'm going to hold down the Command key and click and see if I can drag to just this first one here. So I'm going to select that, and if we go back to SoundFlow, we can see that we'll just refactor this a little. I'm going to change this to be SpectraLayers, this to be the module window. That's module window. Then we've got we obviously again want to remove the whose title is light, because we know that changes. So then we're going to refactor this down to be the menu button. And now we've got a list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refactor this down, and I'm going to go const list equals, and then we've got that list there. And it looks like the list has a row, and the row that we were selecting was the first row. Well, this is great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove first at the end here, and I'm going to make this const row, like so. So this is going to be rows, because we're saying list children whose role is row. So this could be multiple. So if I roll over this, as you can see, it says element AX element array filter. So it's an actual array. So if I roll over the children there, it says AX element array. So it's an array. So now if we wanted to log out the different rows that we'd have, I'd just go rows dot map, and then we get a row, and then I'm just going to put that inside a log call. So if I run this now, it's going to give me a list of all of the rows. So right now, this doesn't really give me that much information, other than that there's 4 rows. And as you can see, there's 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. But we want to get the values inside that. So what I'm thinking is it's probably each row probably has a child element, and that child element is the text field. So let's see if we can get that. So if I go .children .first, and if I run that, exactly as I thought, we've got AX static text fields, and it's got the names of those. So now what I want to do is I want to log out just the titles here. So we've got the default title, we've got light, medium, and strong. So we just want those titles. So let's go .title, .value, like so. Let's run that one more time. And as you can see, it logs out those titles. So now what we want to do is we want to use this to work out which element that we want to click, or which row we want to click. So I'm going to remove the logging now. Actually, no, I'm not going to remove the logging. I'm going to leave that there because we're going to swap this map to a filter. So I'm going to go filter. So for each row, we want it to see if the title equals the preset name that we want. So say we wanted to use the light preset. We do like that. And if I ran this now, it would give me an array of rows that match this statement here. So any row whose title equals light, it's going to return that into an array. But instead of using the filter option, I'm going to use the find option, which finds the first one. So now if I run this again, it returns just the single row rather than the row inside an array like that. So now we've got that row. Just to make sure it's actually the correct row, what we can do is we can go title, so children .first .title .value. So this is essentially, this method here is returning the row, and then we need to obviously get the first child inside that, which was the static text, and then we want to get its title value. So if I run that now, it says that row is title has light, is titled, the title is light. So that's great. So we know it's the correct one. So now what we want to do is we want to click that row. So to do that, I'm going to switch this down, and I'm going to remove the logging here. I'm going to go const, and I'm going to go target row equals, and then we've got the target row, which is that target row there. So now we go target row, children first, and then we can go element click, and we'll see if that works. Sometimes element click works, sometimes it doesn't, but let's see if that works. So if I run that, okay, so it's not actually clicking the light one there. So what we can do is we can try adding an action name within that. Sometimes it works with AXpress. And if I run that, it's still not working. So it looks like we're going to need to use a mouse click. We're going to have to fall back to using a mouse click, unfortunately. But let's go mouse click element, and we'll run that and see what happens. Great, so that's selected it. But because we're using a mouse click, we want to make sure that this this preset or this list here disappears. So we can use for this, I'm going to use element wait for, and I'll say actually I'll go sf.waitFor, and we'll add a callback in here, and we're going to call the callback, and each time we want to see if the list exists. So so we're going to go list, and then we're going to invalidate the list, and we're going to go exists, And that's going to say if it exists, it's going to return true. But what we want is we want to negate the value of this. So the exist returns a Boolean. So the callback for a wait for method, once it returns true, that's when it continues on. So in this situation, if the list still exists, which is the this lot of this area here, this list, if that exists, we want it to keep checking until the list no longer exists. So I'm going to put an exclamation mark, and what that does is that makes the result of this selected text here, or this selected code here, it makes that the opposite of what the actual result is. So now I'm going to add a timeout here, and I'm just going to do 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. And then what we can do is go log, and we'll say list no longer exists, like that. So if I run this, great. So it that worked, and it waited for that list to close. This may not be needed, but it's always good to have these kinds of things in to make your script more robust. So we don't need to log things now. What we need to do is we need to use the pick button to select apply. So I'll click pick, command tab over, and let's select the apply button. And we've got click apply. So we're going to go through, refactor this down, spectral layers. We're going to get this as the module window. We're going to set the, we'll create a const out of this, const, and we'll go apply button, and we'll go apply button element click. And then the next step we need to do is we want to wait for the module window to disappear. So I'm going to copy this line 12 here. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to actually no, the window may not disappear. So let's just leave that there, and run this and see what happens. So I'll close this. We'll select some audio here and run that, and it applied it. I believe it applied it. Yes, it did. So if I undo, as you can see, it applied the declick. So now what we can do is at the end of this, we can say get the reference to the module window, and we can say window close, like so. So now if I close this, and let's set up a keyboard trigger for this. I'm just going to go Control X, and I can limit that down to whatever I want, but I'll just have it open for now, just for testing. So if I select this here and I go Control X, it'll go through, open the preset, and then set that up. Great. So there's the script. So what we can also do with this here, right now, it looks like we're directly accessing the target row by hard coding in the name of the preset. So instead of having the preset here, I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to go preset name, and then at the top of the script here, I'll go const preset name equals, and then paste that there like that. So now we've got a script that has the preset name. It gets Spectral Layers. It activates the SpectraLayers app. It opens up the declick module. And what you could do in here is you could also specify the module name. So const module name equals, and I could go declick here like this, that in quotes, D-click, and then in here what I could do is I could say, instead of putting this here like this, I could delete that and do some backticks here, and then I could go module, use this syntax, which is $, open and close curly braces, and then put in module name like so, and then ... after that, and that will print out as the menu item how that's visible in the menu item. So it'll be D-click followed by ... So then the next thing it will do is it will find the module window, and again here we need to swap this out for the name of the module. So I'm going to get module name here, get that, change that out, and then we're waiting for the module window to appear. Then we're getting the menu button, then we're clicking the menu button, we're waiting for we've got the list and then the rows in each of the lists. We're finding the target row by using the find method to find the preset name, and then we're mouse clicking the element. Unfortunately, that's the only way we can do that in SpectraLayers for that UI element. Then we're waiting for the list to disappear, and then we've got the apply button. We're clicking apply, and then we are closing the module after that. So now this could even be turned into a function. So maybe the function, so we'll call this function, and we can go select module preset, or apply module preset maybe. Apply module preset, and then what we'll do is we'll grab all of this, and what I did is Command Shift and the down arrow, and then use Option, and I'll move that back up into there, and then Option Shift F, and that will format it inside the preset there. So now what we'd do is we'd have the apply module preset would take in 2 arguments. The arguments would be preset name and the module name. And I put these all in curly braces so that it gets the correct, so that we can specify it and it's very clear what's happening. So I'm going to grab this, copy that, and I'll move that down to here, and put this on a new line, this on a new line, that on a new line, like so. I'm going to grab the preset name from here and place this here, and the module name, D-click, and we'll place that here like that. Now we can remove this from the top here, and essentially we are applying the module preset to the preset with the preset name light to the module D-click. So let's try that out. Let's go Control X in SpectraLayers and see if I haven't broken anything. So Control X, okay, that works great. So say that there was another module here, so maybe we had DS, so it's DS, and the one that we wanted to choose was medium. We could do that. Let's do this. We'll go DS. We'll copy this one here and comment this out. Move this down, and we could go medium and change this to, I think that's the correct spelling. And if I run that, okay, so medium, DS, apply. Okay, so there might be something that needs a slight change in there, and I believe it's on line 34, so it's not finding the apply button. Oh, okay, so that's why. If I look here, it says apply D-click. So what we need to do is we need to instead change this to be starts with apply and remove declick there. So now if I run this again, yes, that works. So now we can even do two modules at the same time. So we've got apply module preset, and also just to make sure that this works well, is we want to make sure that the window has disappeared first. So we're going to go module window, and then going to go wait for. So element wait for, and we'll go wait for no element, and we'll go true. Great. All right, so now if I go back over here, select some audio, run Control X. Okay, so back to the drawing board. Let me see. Children. Let me try that one more time. Okay. Oh, there was just, maybe it just didn't get over there quick enough, but everything's working now. I must have done something or hit the wrong keyboard shortcut, but everything is working now. So yeah, so hopefully that helps. If you got any questions about it or run into any issues along the way, let me know and I'll see if I can sort it out for you. Rock on, Bergatron Music, and tune into another session another time.